Where is Jessica Hyde?
Where is Jessica Hyde?
Where is Jessica Hyde? Where is Jessica Hyde? Where is Jessica Hyde? Where is Jessica Hyde?
Where is Jessica Hyde? As haunting a phrase beyond any heard on British TV before. Utopia was a sleeper hit for Channel 4 back in January 2013, which ended after a second season in August 2014, garnering immense critical and viewer acclaim for its ponderous, abstract, brutal depiction of obsession and fear through the medium of a comic manuscript. Utopia was staggering for its uncompromising portrayal of ultra-violence and its unique filmic qualities. The colour palette was bright, technicolor, almost neon light on screen, and it gave an air of some kind of euphoric dream or nightmare, which really is more appropriate. The colours were bold and often reflected some of the more emotional moments and emotional reactions within the show. In some cases, with one particular shot on a green hill next to a highway, it simply enhanced that dreamlike quality to some of the more crazy notions of the show. It was groundbreaking for Channel 4 because of its ability to be darkly humorous and utterly horrifying at the same time, which was executed in no better way than the utterance of the line, "Where is Jessica Hyde?" by a character called Arby, a slow, unstable and emotionally detached network agent tasked with finding Jessica Hyde and the Utopia manuscript, a character that was played brilliantly by Neil Maskell. Where is he now? I wonder what he thinks of this new remake of a show. The reason for the obsession over the Utopia manuscript, its seeming ability to have predicted several major epidemics, and perhaps you will see where this is going. The main cast of it find themselves in over their heads, where they all bear witness to the manuscript and are pursued by a network. Jessica Hyde, who has been on the run from the network her entire life, meets with the group and helps them evade capture. Meanwhile, other characters find themselves ensnared in the network's orbit, and through their interactions with its agents, the organisation's purpose and secret plot come into focus. The closer people come to understanding what's truly going on, the more dangerous things become, as rumours of a flu proliferate worldwide. Again, you see where this is going, and a variety of groups and individuals close in on the protagonists. They try to solve the mysteries and conspiracies that surround them. And that was it. That was the show. The series ended so abruptly at the second innings and soon became the stuff of legend for Channel 4. The mystery was left somewhat open, and it would never be explored further. That was the show, and it was so hard-hitting, so poignant in that briefness, that people still admire and loved it today, and that's probably why Amazon chose to pick it up. People were enamoured by the visual style and the abruptness of the tones. Plenty of people were massively horrified by the high level of uncompromising and brutal violence depicted on screen. Ofcom, the UK media regulator, received 44 complaints about the series, specifically over the violence depicted. But some Brits are still locked in the Middle Ages, so what we'll do is we'll just move on quickly. The point is that Utopia on Channel 4 was so well received because of its unique style and flair, the innate comic book colour palette that lulled you into a false anticipation of what was truly about to happen. Even the violence, despite the outrage, was seen as something that British TV viewing public needed to see and accept as the necessary evil to unlock a great show. I mean, we've had shows since that deal with ultraviolence, we've had films that deal with ultraviolence. The characters in the original show were unique and poignant, struggling, adapting and evolving within themselves as they fought against a force they didn't know existed, for a reason none of them truly understood, with people they hardly knew. What worked was how the show used all of its central ingredients to put the characters into this pressure cooker and have them believably work towards saving themselves and the world. And that came from the execution of the show's creatives, the cast and the writing, which all worked on the same level and hit the right points, the right emotional points, the right violence points. All of it worked so brilliantly together. Fast forward to 2020 and you have the remake, the inevitable remake, some will say, courtesy of Amazon Prime following their acquisition of the rights in 2018. From the off, in the first episode there is no tension. There is zero tension, and I'm not being difficult here. I'm not just doing this because I'm a fanboy. I'm saying this as it is. There is zero tension. Why? Well, firstly, in the original opening sequence, it took place in a small comic book shop where Arby and his companion enter and murder two customers and the owner in search of Jessica Hyde. The shots were small, compact, tight, reflecting multiple facets about what we were in for as an audience. The colours popped from that ridiculous bright yellow bag, and the violence that followed was shocking. In the remake, everything is bigger, featuring a Comic-Con and many more people. Gone is the simple subtlety of the opening. There is no palpable tension because of how big everything is and how wide the camera angles are. There is nothing, there is no tension through the music, the setting, or the characters, with Arby looking almost identical to the original Channel 4 character, but completely lacking any form of menace at all. And this is the most disappointing aspect of it. Arby, there's nothing to him. He has the look, he says the lines, but there's nothing else to it. The subtlety of menace within the character of Arby was all in that blank stare and the monotonous drawl of "Where is Jessica Hyde?" It was unnerving and odd. Here, it's just weird and doesn't give off the same energy, even as he point-blankly shoots a defenceless woman in the head. Pulling away, it is clear Amazon wanted to try and retain the ultra-violence, which they do, but what they failed to create, or possibly perhaps chose to avoid, was the brutality of it and the oftentimes sadistic nature of the violence. The most unnerving thing about the original Channel 4 show was how unnerving everything was. When you knew something was going to happen, you could feel it building from the core. Here, it just happens. In this new version, it all just happens. There is no real build-up. There's no building to tension. Tension is the key thing with why this remake does not work at all. Fundamentally, there is no tension at all. By ignoring or avoiding that notion, it all feels sanitized and damp. Perhaps that shows how far we've come in society with our sanitized nature towards on-screen violence. But again, that was why the original was so hard-hitting, because of the ultra-violence, because of that gritty, abstract reason. This remake needed to find some form of niche for itself, and it fails to do that. It completely fails to do that. Bigger is not always equal to better, and Amazon's Utopia feels like a machined product focused on the movie sheen as opposed to the subtleties that worked so well previously. And this seems to be a running feature of remakes. I mean, just look at all the Disney live action remakes that come across as bland and lifeless compared to their aged cartoon counterparts. The characters in this version they're just mere shells, completely indistinguishable from each other beyond the obvious, which is such a poor misunderstanding of them as characters. Jessica was ruthless, single-minded, and almost dead inside, dead behind the eyes. But she somehow was shown how to remember her humanity with this group of people. Sure, in this new version she's just brutal and she goes along a similar path, but there is no depth. There's no depth to any of it. You get everything that you got originally, but it just doesn't have, there's no feeling behind it. There's no feeling that anything is earned. This is the fundamental problem of it. There is no depth to any of these characters. No depth, no tension. As someone who absorbed the original Utopia, I find this remake utterly insulting, and a further example of mainstream media's assumption that audiences will simply lap it up if it resembles what they remember and what they loved. To a degree, that still works, and disappointingly so. People do still flock to see remakes of things they've already seen, and they think it's great often, sometimes they are. But here, this is just awful. A terrible, terrible remake, and a damn shame. If I was you and you were watching this, I would tell you, now just stop watching it. Stop watching it and go and find the original. I don't know where it is. I need to find it myself. Go and find the original, watch that, and just feel the difference in quality, the difference in tension, the difference in depth. Just find that. Shun these notions and reject these trivial pieces of garbage. Find the originals and embrace them. Watch them. Utopia. Oh, Amazon, what have you done? What have you done? Oh, you created a monster that looks, sounds, and says the same things as the original copy, but no, it's just going to crash and burn, I think. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.